Natural disasters are far more common than many of us realize, perhaps because we only think about those that are unusually drastic and destructive to us and others directly. The reality is that everything from invisible earthquakes to faraway volcanic eruptions are natural disasters and can be connected, often in ways that we cannot see until the passage of time and our deeper understandings through scientific discovery and research. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we're going to be talking about volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis, and seeing how these natural events can be and sometimes are directly interconnected. The catastrophic supervolcanic eruption. Science is always evolving according to new research and fresh findings. Information thought to be accurate at one time can have a different meaning according to changes in the technology used to assess that data, the appearance of new evidence, or the shifting of perspectives upon discovering new pieces to the puzzle of the world. This was the case in relation to the danger of dormant volcanoes and the likelihood that they might erupt. New research coordinated by the University of Oregon in the United States revealed that, as opposed to what we previously thought, that eruptions can only occur if there is liquid magma under a volcano, may not actually be right. As it turns out, researchers and scientists who worked in collaboration with the university have come to recognize that there is a potential for volcanoes without liquid magma under their surface to erupt despite that factor. And while further research and testing is necessary to confirm this highly probable theory, this could mean that as many as 20 volcanoes previously considered to be mostly harmless may in fact be potentially extremely dangerous. These new findings come from an investigation of events that occurred after the Lake Toba supereruptions about 75,000 years ago in the region now known as Indonesia. According to research and analysis, magma seemed to have continued oozing up out of the volcano nearly 13,000 years after the eruption. The eruption was so detrimental that it caused a massive climate shift, inciting a global winter that lasted years and shrinking the human population to about 3,000 people. This is what makes this discovery so surprising. Not only is it now conceivable for dormant volcanoes to erupt, but there is also a possibility that these eruptions are so large and catastrophic that they result in a volcanic winter that is so abnormally cold for abnormally long that it creates widespread famine and affects the human population globally. Professor Martin Danizik from Curtin University in Australia offered insight into these findings, noting that while it's dangerous, ignorance is even more dangerous, and the knowledge obtained from studying the magma of such volcanoes before versus after any eruptions is vital to any deeper understanding of their probability and both short and long-term effects. Tonga's strange and massive eruption. Hunga Tonga Hunga Hape is a volcano named for the two islands that sit on its rim, and that stands to the east of Australia. In December 2021, this seemingly sleeping volcano erupted in a series of turbulent and drastic tantrums that lasted well into the middle of January 2022. The sound of these events was so loud that they were heard all the way in Alaska, more than 6,000 miles away from the volcano. The extremity of this occurrence was such that for quite some time, scientists didn't have the chance to study what happened. It was not until a group of geologists and researchers were able to traverse the area and get a closer look at the aftermath of these eruptions that they were able to decipher some of what had happened. Surveys of the region's seafloor suggested that the blast excavated almost 2.5 miles of rock, meaning that if this is confirmed to be an accurate reading, this volcano's eruption will have surpassed the largest recorded in the past century. Currently, a blast at Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991 holds that title. Regardless, studies of the area have identified record-breaking numbers and revealed the shocking events in the aftermath of Hunga Tonga Hunga Hape's eruptions. The blast sent ash and hot searing gas into the air, reaching heights of about 35.4 miles into the sky, a measurement unprecedented before this. It also injected a shocking 146 teragrams of vaporized water into the atmosphere, which may have caused a slight rise in climate. It also sparked a tsunami that travelled around the world. The team that set out to study the region was part of a collaboration between New Zealand's National Institute for Water and Atmospheric Research and the Nippon Foundation, called the Tonga Eruption Seabed Mapping Project. Their expedition was followed by Sea Kit International's uncrewed Max Limer, operated remotely by researchers in the United Kingdom. Both research efforts included implementing different methods of scrutinizing the region, including mapping out the seafloor, taking pictures and videos, and studying the water column, and collecting samples from the volcanic residue, rocks, and ash. Studies offered insight into the factors that caused the resulting tsunami and the movement of magma within the surrounding waters of the volcano. And though there is still so much to learn about this natural disaster and its effects, all the information gathered up until now shows us how much more there is to learn and understand. The invisible earthquake. Speaking of tsunamis, did you know that in 2021, a massive and mysterious tsunami shocked seismologists with its unexpected presence and effects? It rocked the world, literally, not just because it was quite unexpected, but because, as it turned out after studies and analysis much later, it was the result of several seemingly invisible earthquakes. The tsunami originated from what was initially considered to be a single earthquake in the South Sandwich Islands in British Overseas Territory in the southern Atlantic Ocean. It had a magnitude of 7.5 out of 9 on the Richter scale, a measurement method devised by American seismologists Charles F. Richter and Benno Gutenberg. However, this earthquake was too deep in the water, about 47 kilometers, to initiate a tsunami. Another anomaly was the length of the rupture, which was about 400 kilometers long, which would have warranted a much larger earthquake. It was not until researchers delved into this natural disaster that it became clear that the earthquake was not a single event, but rather a combination of 5 separate earthquakes essentially overlapping. The specific earthquake that caused the tsunami was the third in the series, which was overlooked until seismologists took a closer look at the complex South Sandwich Islands earthquake. This was led by the lead study author, Ji Jia, a seismologist at the California Institute of Technology. The third earthquake had a magnitude of 8.2 and lasted 200 seconds, and it was revealed that this accounted for about 70% of the energy released. Jia spoke on how important it is to increase our knowledge of how these natural disasters work and where they can come from, noting that it was especially alarming yet intriguing that this third earthquake was both silent and invisible, causing researchers to initially miss it completely. The seismologist also added that we need to rethink how we make preparations for these earthquake-tsunami hazards by being able to first quickly and effectively identify them. It can often be the case that the low effects of earthquakes like these can cause us not to realize the harm and damage that they can cause with some passage of time, through the subsequent tsunamis they cause. As Judith Hubbard, a geologist at the Earth Observatory of Singapore, who was not involved in the study, pointed out, with these complex earthquakes, the earthquake happens and we think, oh, that wasn't so big, we don't have to worry. And then the tsunami hits and causes lots of damage. The discovery of the hidden earthquakes is a step in many steps towards a grander understanding of the world. While researchers and scientists are always trying to learn more and be better prepared for the unknown in what is known, it is no small feat that they were able to glean the information they did about the initial earthquakes and the ensuing tsunami. But what are your thoughts on these natural disaster discoveries? Be sure to let us know in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.